What's wrong, Irene? Don't you understand that this is the end for you? Ryu, what are you doing? No one who has seen what's going on there can live to tell about it. Irene Liu, CIA analyst, deceased. Killed on mission, Cardinal. Ryu Hayabusa, descendant of the Dragon Clan. Eliminated Irene Liu at N3-SH. I killed Irene? No! Someone, or something using my name, killed Irene. Picking my way through the dragnets, I tried to find the lab that Irene was investigating. I won't rest until I find who killed Irene and framed me. Hello everyone, and welcome to Let's Play Ninja Gaiden 3, The Ancient Ship of Dune. It's about time we got the original NES trilogy wrapped up. Now, there is something special about this playthrough that people who grew up with this game are going to notice probably even right now even. But for right now, let's start a new game. Stylish animation there on the act card. Now, immediate differences from Ninja Gaiden 2 into 3. The main control is very much the same, though I think there's a bit more of a slow back jump than there was in the previous game. We can now see what's in any of the little item containers. For instance, that's a flame wheel. That is a blade extension, which gives your slash a little extra effect for range. You're going to want to get that in every stage it's in, which is basically every stage. There is a new sub-weapon, and it's that thing right there. I think it's just called the Shockwave. Essentially, you just send a wave of energy up and down below you at the same time. They just kind of loop back once. It's actually surprisingly useful range-wise, but I'm going to be generally sticking with the usual flyer wheels and down sparks. And another immediate two differences. Ryu now actually has his scarf while he's standing still, and has a little animation to it just to make it look a bit more stylish. And whenever you slash, Ryu has a little voice clip, which is very low quality, but cool nonetheless. Before I get into anything else, Stage 1 is pretty straightforward, honestly. It's very short, very few enemies in your pathway, and even then they'll just basically run to your sword in most cases. And the boss is more of the same. It slowly moves forward, and it has a shield up, except for when it attacks in these little shockwave patterns. Just time your slashes well enough and jump over the shockwaves, and you'll honestly be pretty good. It's a very easy boss fight, as most Ninja Gaiden Act 1 bosses are. You may have noticed, though, if you're familiar with the game, I took very little damage there. More on that in a minute. Or two, I forgot how long this cutscene is. This isn't an ordinary lab. Oh, it's Ryu. Who's there? Haha, don't be frightened. I want you to do something for me. Go to the Castle Rock Fortress. To get there, you'll have to get past all of the traps your enemy has set for you. Ryu, you're the only one who can make it. Who's the enemy? What is the Castle Rock Fortress? I don't have time to give you the details now. Once you get there, you'll learn all about Irene. Get going, Ryu, and hurry. Act 2 starts with some quicksand, which you actually fall deep enough in, you actually will take damage. Usually you'll take about 6 damage, which is 3 hits and you're done with that, but not so much here, because the thing is, I am playing a bit of a fan translation of the original Japanese version. The American Ninja Gaiden 2 had 3 major changes done to it to really artificially heighten the difficulty and length of the game. They made every enemy do double damage, they gave you a limit of 5 continues compared to 1 and 2's unlimited continues a la Castlevania 1, and they also got rid of a password system that I think shows up after every death, maybe even? which is really dumb. In fact, I can say for a fact, if you're playing the American version of this game, you're easily playing the worst Ninja Gaiden game on the NES. I still think it's probably my least favorite out of the three, but playing the Japanese version as it is a lot better. Though I should mention, it's technically not a fan's translation. This is technically a patch to the ROM by Mozilla on romhacking.net just to restore some of the old features. Otherwise, the game, I believe, is untouched. I think the dialogue is keeps the old translation and everything, so on and so forth. So if you want to use it, you can just probably find him just by looking up Mozilla Ninja Gaiden 3. And new to Ninja Gaiden is Auto-Scroller. This section, if you touch the lava, you die, but you want to stay towards the upper third of the screen, not the very top of the screen. Wait for the platforms to entirely scroll on screen before jumping onto them. Because in most cases, there are enemies on those platforms that just will not spawn in yet until they get a certain amount of way on the screen, and you'll just take damage without having any reason not to, basically. Or without meaning to, rather. That's the Ninpo boosts, like the Ninja Gaiden 2 in every stage, more or less every stage, actually. I think there's one other stage that doesn't have it, like the intro stage, just a bit later on. There are those hidden in one of the pickups, and it just boosts your Ninpo by 10. You're gonna want to get as many of them as you can. Now, something really dumb about this stage in Ninja Gaiden Trilogy on the Super Nintendo is that the auto-scroller is still here. But they didn't animate the lava rising, so you're just running away from nothing. And it's not like the hitbox for it isn't there. It still is, and if you touch it, you will die, but they just didn't animate it. There's a lot of really just sloppy things about the Trilogy. Stage 2 on the whole, though, is pretty dangerous compared to Stage 1, but still pretty easy. Just watch out for a lot of the instant death and high damage going around, especially in the American version. Either way, boss for this stage is the Night Driver, I believe this thing's called. It basically has the down spark for its ability. It'll just shoot waves of it down forward at certain parts of the screen. Otherwise, it just kind of flies in a sort of M pattern. Not too bad. I should also mention the name of the first boss, I think, is the Mantis Warrior. What is this place? It's been a long time, Ryu Hayabusa. You're Foster! Were the defenses around Castle Rock tough enough for you? No one has ever made it out of here alive, and no one ever will. Was Irene here? You're the one who... I don't know what you're talking about. I heard that you killed Irene. We're bound to run into each other again before long. I hope you're still alive when we do. So long, Ryu. Just wait, Foster. I won't rest until I find out the truth. Well, wasn't that music just over-dramatic as all hell? But yeah, Foster's back from Ninja Gaiden 1. They kind of forgot all about him in 2, but no, he's back now. Stage 3 is probably where the game starts to get honestly hard. Because the first two stages, when you get down to it, are still pretty simple. This is where they really start to spam the instant death pits that the series is oh so known for. Although I don't think it's the worst in the game to do it. That's probably the final stage, actually. Thankfully, I do think this game hits a good balance where usually after every vertical or horizontal section, there's usually a vertical section that doesn't have any real instant death pits in it. Although there's usually still some really high damage stuff, especially in the NES version rather than the Famicom version. I also think this game might have the most one-ups you can find out of the three, which in a way makes it the easiest game in the series, especially for the Japanese version. But it's still gonna have its trials and tribulations, I can tell you that for a fact, especially its plot, because honestly, Ninja Gaiden 3, I think, has the worst written plot out of the entire trilogy, and given how at times bare bones the other plots have been, that says something. Also, I'm not sure why, but the vertical sections tend to have vibrating screens for some reason. That's probably just my game doing that, though, because I don't recall it actually doing that on the NES or Virtual Console releases, but here it is here. Mind you, for all I know, it might not even be happening in the final video due to the frame rate getting cut. This game also has a pretty good habit of giving you full info restores instead of the blue ones, because the blue ones still only give you 10, whereas the reds are full restores. And because of that, they also have a very good pattern of giving you flame wheels throughout this game, and that just makes the game really easy because you can just blow through everything. Though, this game does change your sub-weapon back to the standard shuriken between every stage. And the shadow clones are completely missing from 3. Probably because they realized that they were way too broken for their own good in 2. But, come on, man, they were fun. Also, hey, that's the first health restore in the game. Health restores, I think, might be the rarest in this game compared to the other ones, but I can't quite tell, because, honestly, there's not too many in the entire trilogy to begin with. One, you're not in the horizontal sections where there's just a shitload of bottomless pits in this stage. Stage 3 isn't too bad. The water, when it's pooling up on top of the platforms, can push you, so you need to watch out for that. But otherwise, nothing too painful, aside from the fact that this is probably the latest in the game you get a sword extender in one of the stages, because it's right here, and the boss is directly to our right. So that's a bit late there, but at least they gave us one to us. It's the only power-up, I think, that is without a doubt in every stage, barring, of course, an info boost. And I think every stage has every sub-weapon at least once in it. Usually in this game, you're going to see me going for either the fire wheel, that's just embarrassing, or the flame wheel, just because I use those the most. Either way, this boss is kind of a repeat from the gargoyles in the first game. This is the Great Kogane. It basically uses the shuriken against you. In fact, most of the bosses use your own abilities. If you play the American version, it's very easy to die here just because of the amount of damage surrounding you, but as long as you're keeping an eye on where the one you need to hit is, you can just tank the damage for the most part here in the Japanese version. Who are you? So, you're my original. What? Come on. Fight me. So you're the one who killed Irene and made me a murderer. So, what are you going to do about it? I'll get you. You're nothing but talk, aren't you? You. I don't just look like you. I've also acquired all of your strengths. Unfortunately, I can't get rid of you just yet. Foster's order. I'll answer your question. I'm the one who eliminated Irene. You? I'll use the information from this fight the next time we meet. When and if you get to Castle Rock Fortress, I'll be ready for you. Later! What in the world was that? What's waiting for me at the Castle Rock Fortress? Well, I guess we'll need to find out next time. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 2, we'll be heading into stage 4, where the plot continues to get weird. See you guys then.